so good to see each and every one of you.
Yeah.
Everyone is talking about they don't want another 1981. Well, let's think about it. It's because of 1981 that we can enjoy our public holidays, our vacation days, our sick days, and all the other benefits that we got as a result of it. The question is, what are our children going to enjoy as a result of us being here? Because that's what's at stake. We know that on average PRCs make more money than we do. They've got housing allowances and other bonuses and everything else, and that's great for them. I'm not hating on that. But when they come and feel as though they have a right to my rights. See, I know what it's like to have a guest in my house. But if I see that guest picking out of my son's plate, then we got a problem. We seem to have a premier that says he's listening. But the question is, to whom is he listening?
To the devil.
We have a revelation now that they have had consultation with other associations, but not the Bermudian Association. When the Bermudian Association, we the people come together and say we would like to have a voice, we're dismissed. Oh, we're listening. We're listening. Well, I'm going to tell you, Mr. Premier, to me, your form of listening is like listening to a drowning man scream and doing nothing. Doing absolutely nothing. What's at stake? Are our children going to now have to compete for jobs for those who gain status under this initiative? Immediately now, they make more money than we do, we know that. They can afford the secondary and third level educations for their children, we know that. But what about our children? We're not hating on those who are here legally. But we're not going to change the law so you can stay. There's an old adage, good fences make good neighbors. And that's what we have to stick to. Because if not, what are we going to leave for our children? What are we going to leave? How can we look our children in the eye and say we're going to walk away from this? This government needs to listen. This government needs to hear our cries. We, your people, are calling out. It's really unfortunate that the government seems to have taken its stand today. That they're pressing forward with this issue. They haven't given out 1 inch of let's reconsider our position. And that's all we're asking. We're asking for you to reconsider your position. Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a conversation. That's how communities live together. But we find that their position is divisive. They're dividing us and them. He's claiming support that he cannot substantiate. Who are these mythical people that he's saying that are supporting their issue? I'd like to hear from these mythical people so we can have a dialogue. I see people in front of me. Is anybody here supportive of this issue? No. So who are these mythical people? They think we're blinded to their objectives. If this is not about an election, like the sister said the other day, not too far from here, wait till after the election. There must be dialogue. So again, we're calling for all Bermudians. All Bermudians. Black Bermudians, white Bermudians, it doesn't matter. Your children are at stake. I've met with some white Bermudians who are concerned for their grandchildren. I can substantiate that, I can go get them. But can he substantiate these claims of support, this mythical support that he claims to have? Who is giving this mandate? We need to come together, Bermuda. There's only one way forward, and that's hand in hand. We can't go forward like this. We can't go forward with you have yours and we're going to get ours. We can't have two Bermudas. There's no Paget Bermuda, Warwick Bermuda, Smith Bermuda. There's one Bermuda. And that's what we need. So if you're in support of this, there's one Bermuda moving forward. Let's hear your voice. One Bermuda. One Bermuda. One Bermuda. One Bermuda. God bless you. I love you all.
Let me say good afternoon, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, brother.
Today is February the 11th, 2016. March. Thanks, Ronnie. March. Speed. Well, I was actually speeding now. Interesting. You heard in 2016 that there is still this four-letter word out there that Bermudians are living in fear. We went, and Brother Darren just gave the example. We went through 1981. 1981, as I said this morning at Union Square, was about one issue. That one issue was about wages for government workers and hospital workers. And as a result of that, it spiraled out of control and we had an island-wide shutdown. David Gibbons at the time, he was the premier of the country. And I remember it like yesterday, he made it clear to Bermuda that you're either going to follow Admiral Simmons or you're going to follow me. We know what the history has written. The people of the country spoke, and this is my suggestion to the ODA government, if you're not going to listen to the people, if you're not going to listen to the people, I heard the premier saying that they are not backing down. My advice to the country today, is that we can back down. We cannot live in fear because our young people are going to be disadvantaged. We can't be afraid of standing up and taking a stand. This issue is not a labor issue. This issue is a political issue. And as a result of that, you should have a democratic right under the Constitution of Bermuda to say, I'm coming out and freely protesting against the legislative government wants to propose. Now, if we weren't putting any suggestions on the table about how we move forward, then I would agree with the government. You heard the statement read by Sherry Simmons a few moments ago from the Jamaican Association. The minister said in the paper that they had consultation with him. Really? So, listen. The premier of the country is standing in the House of Assembly floor today saying, well, going forward, even though the Minister of Home Affairs has lied to the country about consultation, you want to accept that we're going to move forward with this process? Sounds to me like the CCC and Acorn deal with the airport. They played a game with our minister, and as a result of that, they said, well, I run a word that, well, when you became a word, you're back away from the deal, you're still getting off the deal. So somebody's like, yeah, come down and double behavior. If CCC and Acorn is not about transparency, you win in 2012 that the government's going to be transparent. Why would you want to be involved with people who are not transparent? This is no game. As I said to the two ministers yesterday, this is about the country. It's not about the ODA. It's not about the PLP. It's about the people. And if you're not going to sit here and tell me as the minister, we're concerned about court case number 1 or court case number 2, and the judge is going to make a ruling against the government, what about the ruling that they're making against thousands of people? At what point in time is our rights going to be addressed? Comprehensive immigration reform on a bipartisan way is the way to go. So, we'll put the suggestions on the table, and what do we hear from the government? What do we hear? This tit-for-tat game, and the people are suffering. Why? The government says, and I'll repeat it again because I said on Union Square earlier, I'm going to repeat it again. Monday night, I was listening to the debate. I heard the Premier of the country, I heard the Minister of Finance, the Deputy Premier, and I think it was Sylvan Richards say that when we go to the opposition, the government told us The opposition will have its say, but the government will have its way. We shouldn't be playing this kind of game with the people of Bermuda. I understand that you were elected to serve. I got that. Show me your mandate. Show the people of the country your mandate on this issue that you're dealing with now. Where's your mandate? How could the president of the country say that I'm listening to the people? We're listening to the people. I don't deny that the president is listening. I say that with the utmost respect. The issue is listening, but it's not hearing. Big difference. Huge. Because you can sit in front of me for an hour and talk to me, and I say, well, I listen to everything you said. The question you asked, that person asked that, did you hear what I said? So what we have is the government saying that we're listening to the people, but all our actions are saying we're not hearing you. And I was raised as a young man by grandma and grandpa. If you can't hear, you're gonna feel it. So if the NBA government wants to take this to the maximum, it's time for the people of Bermuda to stand up and say, you know what? Enough is enough, and send them a clear message.
Yes, sir, brother. Cabinet building. That's all right. Let me get up. You go right next. Go right next.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
We were just informed that the Premier is on his way down the backside of the Parliament building and is on his way to have his own press conference. He's on his way to have his own press conference.
Press is up here.
But the people are up here. The people are up here. Now he made the statement that the People's Campaign and all of us out here are unaccountable. Well, we're accountable to the people. We're accountable to the people that he was elected to be accountable to. And because we listen and we hear, then our action is driven by the desire and the will of the people. Because we recognize that those of us who have been entrusted with the honor of serving people, that we cannot serve people if we don't hear people. And because we hear the people, we give ourselves in service. And we do what our ancestors have done. We do what people from as far back as Reverend Richard Hilton Toddett did, Reverend Vincent Randolph Monk did, Dr. E.F. Gordon did, Kingsley Tweed did, Oddie Simmons did, Jason Hayward is doing, and Chris Furman is doing. We speak with a strong, loud voice saying we're not going to let you turn our people around. We're not going to let you turn the clock back from 2016 to 1916. But we're going to stand strong and stand firm, fighting for justice, fighting for equality, and fighting for freedom. And so, beloved, because they don't know who we are we together?
Yeah!
Do we speak with one voice?
Yeah!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
Keep the faith.
Long said, bro.
I'm the little man. And there's a lot of other little men just like me who are feeling what's going on. My kids, my grandkids, and my grandkids to be
should not have to inherit this. How long are we going to say we're had enough? Because I've been hearing that we're had enough for a long time. I've heard they've been listening for a long time. And I've heard you listening. And the listening is nothing. So today I can tell you from the little man that's out on the street, that's struggling to eat, that's struggling to work, we're finished listening. We're finished listening. It's time for us as Bermudians, especially us young black Bermudians, to stand up and secure and protect our birthright. It's time. It's time. If not, they're going to pencil us in one more time. They're going to pencil us in one more time to make us happy, to make us complacent, to make us whatever they want us to be. It's over. I need people to say it's over. We can't do this no more. We can't do this no more. We need what's ours. We need to get back to us, give us ours. I'm not trying to come in your house. Ain't nothing in your house for me. Let me have mine, please. Don't make me take it. That's not right. But if it's mine, I want it. Have a good afternoon.
Hold tight, my brothers. I just want to say, I have been here on this earth 67 years. I marched with Buddy the first time down at the airport when we got our recognition. Tell you a little story. I started one day and we were on Rock to Rule. The next day we were striking. And for 2 weeks we were out there. They were trying to knock us down with their cars as we were marching. And when we went back to work, I had a raise and I didn't know what I was going to make. So I did what everybody said: work hard, save your money, and Bob Richards will come and take it from you. Bob Richards has his hand deep into my pocket. I worked 25 years in the prisons. I almost lost my life to protect Bermudians. Under the PLP government, I had $1,900 a month from the prisons. My superannuation, that I was contributing $250 a week for 25 years. This is not fuzzy math. This is not fuzzy math. Under the PLP, I was taking home $1,700 a month because they took $250 for my insurance. My wife retired, so they took another $300 out of my pay for my wife. I don't mind that. I ended up with $1,400. Since the ODA has been in here, they've been in my pocket, and they took $1,100 out of my pay, out of what I work for. Or I speak for the citizens, seniors, citizens, because I'm one. But I don't speak to them because I'm one. I speak to them because it's right. How can we live in this country? How? You got them talking about bringing in foreigners will bring jobs. Well, let's put some money together. Bring all those people back home. That's got the education. Bring them in. What can they say then? Huh? What can they say, them liars? I told Bob Richards down there, he ran from me and just laughed at me. When I told him, take your hands out of my pocket. Right down here. I'm serious about that. I'm not suffering like a lot. I'm suffering a little comfortably. But it's not about me. It's about people that can't afford it. People that need the money just to get a loaf of bread. Not to buy a house,
for your ignorance. It's time. What time is it? This is the time. Come on, my people. I love you. I'm out here because of you. I did my fighting with Adi. I did my marching for years and years and years. And now look at me. When I should be down there in my garden, I'm out here fighting again for the same things. I heard Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Well, I don't want that legacy. I want the beginning. They can have the end. The beginning, God put us on this little island. And many people have said that this is a habitat for God, this island. It's such a spiritual strength in this island. We need to stand up like our ancestors did and be spiritual. Cosmologically spiritual. Our people, I love you. Stick it out. I'm going to be here as long as it takes. Because I haven't made it until we all make it.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just want to come and clear a few things up for our dishonorable government. Everybody out there, this is what they think of you. They say that you're misguided, you're being manipulated by the PLP, by the BIU, by the unions, by the people's movement. Nobody's being misled. They don't think you have the intelligence among yourselves to make an informed, intelligent decision about what's going on in this island because you're too foolish and the only thing you will ever know is what they tell you. We are not an ignorant people. We are a powerful, strong, wise people. I sat down yesterday at last evening, and I heard one of the most wise, intelligent people that I have ever met speak. She spoke with passion. You wouldn't think that she wasn't eating because the glow in her and her vibe was just so strong. But they would say that's just being misled. That's just being manipulated to take this hunger strike as if this woman doesn't know what is going on. And let's clear up some things too, because they've been going around saying that I've been trying to entice riots or that I'm encouraging people to disrupt the America's Cup. I am not doing any of that. The POP is not doing any of that. The unions are not doing any of that. What is being done, we are given fair warning that if you put your head in the mouth of an alligator, that alligator most likely will bite your head off. So when you come and you talk about giving the rights of our citizens away so vicariously when our people are hungry, it's not a priority to put our people to work. It's a priority to make these people, give these people status. But what does status entail that they don't always have as PRC? They can already buy land. They can already work here as long as they so choose. They can already move them out the island and do what they please, join as many organizations as they wish, but they can't vote. And they can't pass down that right to live here to their children. But status changes that. Now my child's child has to compete with their children and their children's children, and you're telling me I'm supposed to just accept that? And this is a pressing issue that you must address. No, what you must address is that the people of this island are hungry. And the young people in this island may be slow to react, but we are not sleeping. So believe me when I tell you, you do not want to see civil unrest. I'm not encouraging it, but I'm not going to sit there and tell people not to do what is in their heart when they feel that you are not listening to the beat of their heart. It is time to break this government up. Everyone keeps saying, I will be here Monday, I will be here Tuesday, I'll be here Wednesday. Why are we giving them that option? We are here today in large numbers, and we are demanding that you go in that house and you do what you're there for and work for the betterment of the people. Remove that bill and consult with the people. Comprehensive immigration reform is what we are asking. And they keep saying, oh, but no one's presenting an alternative plan. Comprehensive immigration reform. Speak to the people. that this affects. It affects us. You speak to these stakeholders, and we come to the table, and we come up with the best plan to move forward. It's not only PLP to give you, to say what they will do with immigration. It's not only ODA to say what they will do for immigration. It's not only unions. We don't have that right. No political party has that right. No union has that right. All of the people have that right. And that is what we are calling for. And it's been said, and I've said it, and I'm gonna repeat something because I know a young man, other man you might know, Brian True, wrote a little piece in, and he tried to make my word seem that it was wrong to say. This is the House of Assembly. Our representatives sit in that House of Assembly. They are bound by the rules of that House of Assembly. So that means they have a turn to speak, and they have a time when they have to sit down. We do not have to be bound by those rules. They cannot shut us up. We do not have to sit down by the sound of the gravel, and we will not sit down by the sound of the gravel or that square tag. So I would like to say to the One Bermuda Alliance, the government, the premier, pull this back today. Give the people what they want. We're not hurt for nothing. If we have to come back, it may not be so pleasant for you. We're asking nicely now. And that's duty right there.
Well said, young man.
All right, good afternoon, Bermuda. I just want to ask a question, and I'll give my opinion.
Down here, bro.
Bermuda is blessed. Bermuda is blessed that we are not at war. But if Bermuda was at war, if Bermuda's economy was to collapse, who would stay and fight? Or who will be the next playing out? Who? Those people are the people that should be allowed to vote. A vote can transform this Bermuda. And only those who have that foundation should be allowed to make that transformation. That's my opinion.
Well said, bro. Well said, bro.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, bro.
I'm a man of short, of little words, few words. But what I want to say today is to make an impact. I hope you all are listening. This is not the first time they've prostituted this house. They prostituted it in the 1920s when they took us town from us through legislation. They prostituted this house again, I think last year or year before that, when they took Mr. McLean's contract from him through legislation. Now they're coming back with a big prize. And what's that prize? They're now going to prostitute this house to take Bermuda from us. You don't think so? But when they did every Tom, Dick, and Harry and his dog from overseas the right to vote, don't complain. But you find that you can't do nothing in this place. Sir, you're right. They have prostituted this place. And they're prostituted to death. Have a great day. Remember what I said.
Well said, bro.
Hello, good afternoon. Listen, people, I'm not here to continue this. We have to do a Donald Trump on these people, okay? We need pink slips all over this grass saying you're fired. We have not been led by a government of truth. In my opinion, as I think speakers before us has said, we're back. We're back in the 1900s, you know, we're in the early 1900s. I know the people, Dame Lewis, Walter Robinson, Walter Roberts, Austin Thomas, Freddie Wade, Lois Brown. Yeah, you, Barbara Ball.
Addie Simmons.
Let's have them. Glenn Blakely, Addie Simmons. I'm sorry. And then what was the journalist? Ruthie? David Allen. David Allen. Yes. Okay, we've had all these people. come before us and lay the tracks. All right? We need to ride this and let these people know we are not tolerated. Yes. I am tired, sick and tired. I'm unemployed. My pension is gone, or I probably won't even have one. And here I am fighting for my grandchildren, or my legacy, yeah, which my mother already done. Yeah, Rosalie Douglas was the commercial for 1968 PLP when we went to the polls.
Yes.
Why do we continue to fight this war? Let's get them out. But we also know, we need to know what we want in. Because blindly allowing other people to be our voice, yes, thank you, it's not the deal either. Bermuda has to know which way they want to go forward. And we need to tell OBA, this is not the way. We are not prepared to go any further without comprehensive, consultative reform.
Yes.
I really am not prepared to go any further with them, period. And I was told that the only way we don't go any further with them is for the people
Shut it down.
to shut it down.
Shut it down.
Okay? We need everybody from your 18-month-old up. Sacrifice. Yes. Don't talk about, oh, I couldn't get a babysitter. Bring them.
Yes.
Bring them and make sure we stay until these lives have changed their tune. Because it is not ordinary. And, you know, I have a preference to hear him. So, yes, you know, and he speaks to fight. You know, and it's all about one love. Yeah, and we need to have us come up with a plan, you know, consultate. Let's have, we said, okay, I'll tell you what. I don't believe we need foreigners to come here and build big houses. Yeah. I think we need at least 10 of those hotel properties that were closed down. The beds to be filled so they come here, they enjoy themselves, they spend their money, and they go home. I also understand.
I can get 1 second, please.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. This is just a little information from what the sister said. It's done, cabinet having a press conference. What we're going to do right now is grill up with him and have a conversation with him directly. Let's go!
Have your attention for about 10 or 15 minutes. Might be a little less than that. First of all, I have a cell phone in my hand. Somebody's lost their cell phone. It's a Samsung phone. It's got a gray back. So if you misplace your phone, I may have it here with me in my hand. So come and get it. Now, I understand the frustrations of the people. I understand it because of 40-odd years in the trade union movement. And I say that with the utmost respect. One of the reasons why I said what I said to you this morning before we left Union Square was that we wanted people to be obedient and not try to cause things to have a disturbance so things can get out of hand. And whilst I do understand that everyone is going to handle a situation in a different way, certainly we want to make sure that we get the outcome we're looking for. And you go down the hill because Brother Jason made the announcement that the Premier was having a press conference down below. So we went down there. And naturally enough, it was perfect timing because as Brother Jason and a few of the people got ahead, and Brother Jason was able to catch the Premier before he went into the press conference. And he agreed that he'll come and have a conversation. Now, recognizing at that point in time, there was a lot of people in the cabinet office. And all the police asked us to do was that everybody can't stay. So we made a serious attempt to get, particularly they wanted, and let's just be clear, they wanted everybody to leave. Even the people that were sitting on, they wanted them to leave. So what we did was say, hold on a second, right? Everybody that's standing, we understand you got a challenge of death, so maybe they will leave, but everybody that's got a seat will be staying.
They ain't gonna be afraid.
And then we have a conversation where they come back to us and say, well, the Premier just wants to meet with Jason, Reverend Tree, and myself. And the response was that that's not going to happen. Because first of all, we're going to make sure this is about being transparent. And what we don't want the people to think is that we're going in the back room, the three of us, and make some kind of deal. So what we said to them, and we made it crystal clear that we're not having a conversation with the Premier, with just us three. Everybody that's in that room sitting down is going to stay. So that's what we agreed. There's 15 or 20 people that were sitting down in the room, stayed along with Reverend Tree, Jason, and myself. And they agreed to come in the room and have a conversation. Now, having said that, we have agreed in principle, and I say in principle because we do understand how things might change. But let's just be clear what's not going to change. We're not looking at another situation like we're looking at like last year, January. We came out in the morning, we got an agreement, and we sent everybody back to work and all that kind of stuff. This is not that situation. Let's just be clear. We're having a conversation, and he didn't need to ask. And if he would have said, I would have said, well, I want to disrespect Brother Jason or Reverend Tree, I would have said, that's not going to happen. If he would have asked, well, could you send the people back to work while we have a conversation or whatever? No. The people are out because they are in protest. They're protesting the first bill that you want to pass. So he said, well, could we have a conversation later on today or tomorrow? Listen. And he said, well, once again, he chose the three of us, Reverend Tree, Jason, and myself. So I said to the Premier of the country, and respectfully, before he went any further, I said, let me just say this. There's a lot of people out there that want to hear what's going on. And whilst I do understand, they all can't be in the room, we want to make sure that this is about inclusion and not exclusion. So we're going to add at least maybe 2 more people, maybe 2, and we said 2, so if it's a third person, then that's fine, but at least 2 more people, along with Reverend Tree, Jason, and myself. So we're going to select 2 of you to go with us. So we want to make sure that the people that are heard today protesting about the bill is not going to be in the room and have some kind of say. Now I do understand that everybody wants to be in the room. Listen. Let me say this to you, right? If you want the Premier to come out here, you can come take the mic, you can ask him to come out here, you can have a conversation, and that's fine. I can go right back to my office, whatever, and sit down and do whatever. We're trying to organize this day correctly, so that if in the end, we're going to have a conversation, and that conversation has to be a fair conversation. We know what is at stake, we know that. Today, we've had your best interest at heart. Have we not had it? The call that was made yesterday by the People's Campaign, or even 9 o'clock this morning by the BLU, would have never came. There's a trust issue here. And if you don't trust the 3 of us and 2 other people from here to be in a meeting and have a conversation and report back to you, remember now, we're not taking anything off the table. Why not ask you to go back to work while this is going on? We're going to have a conversation if you want to talk Saturday while you're doing whatever you're doing. And then whatever we decide this afternoon about what we're going to do about tomorrow or Monday or Sunday or whatever it is, we're going to make that decision. Why not actually stand on nothing that we're done at this point in time? So let's just be clear. I don't know if Reverend Tweed or Jason wants to add anything to what I said. So right now the issue is that I think the Premier's aide is going to reach out to Brother Jason with a time. And once that time happens, if you've got 2 volunteers, hopefully a brother and a sister or 2 sisters, it don't really matter from where we stand. We just want 2 other individuals to be with us so that you see your interest is protected. Yeah?
Brothers and sisters, before we proceed, let me just, in the interest of transparency, be crystal clear. And those that were present in the meeting can attest to this fact. I raised the question whether or not that a precondition for going to the meeting must be that everything has to be taken off the table. There can be nothing beyond our ability to discuss it and lay out a proposed resolution that will incorporate the people being heard.
Yes.
Run that.
Those were the terms. And so I want us to understand, we're not just going to a meeting to have a meeting. We're not just going to a meeting to kill time. We're not going to a meeting to try to diffuse a spirit.
No.
We're going to a meeting committed to complete a purpose.
Yes.
We're going to a meeting fully understanding that whoever will be in that meeting carries with them the burden and responsibility to represent everybody that not only is here, but across the island. And so we want you to understand that we take this seriously. And we will not agree to anything that violates the will of the people who entrusted us to sit at any table.
Run that.
And so as we try to move forward and try to find a way to break the impasse, we believe that the best way forward, sooner or later, there has to be some kind of engagement. So the best way forward, as long as we are coming with clean hands and are honest and open and are saying that everything has to be on the table.
No shortcuts.
No shortcuts, no okie dokie, no secret card tricks. Everything has everything has to be on the table. And so we are moving forward only with your permission. If you tell us that you decide, well, you don't want us to have no meeting, then we ain't gonna have no meeting. But you have to be confident and you have to trust that we are going to be faithful and true in our representation of us, because it's not you, it's us.
People.
And so we have to stay together. Turn to someone and say, stay together.
The people. Us and you, we can work together. That's what we want. We all live on this island.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming out today. It's really important that as a community we come together and stand up against policies that are not in the best interest of the region. So we appreciate each and every one of you exercising your democratic right today. Here to speak, we have the opposition leader of Bermuda, the Honorable Mark Dean, JPMP, who is going to address us this afternoon. Also, Ms. Ando Lati.
Yes.
She's going to speak to us as well. She is one of the persons who has begun to lead the charge for us and has set an example of what's sometimes necessary in order for us to achieve the end we need. And Ms. Lati has launched a hunger strike, and she's been here for several days. So not only do we thank her, but we applaud her efforts. Because the truth is that in order for us as a country to move forward and be able to break away from the detrimental policies that's being put forward by the government, we need more people who are willing to stand up like this Matthew. So again, we appreciate you taking a stand today. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the opposition leader who's going to address the people. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for coming forward today and answering the call to stand up, be courageous, be responsible, and start putting ourselves on the path of loving ourselves.
Yes, Judge.
I can give a report. Earlier today, if those of you who tuned in to the house upstairs, we had the opportunity to ask the Honorable Premier if his position had changed. His position in terms of pathway to status. Is he now willing, as a result of what we're seeing today, to go back to the table, not even go back to the table, but to withdraw the bill? For those of you who might not know, the Premier responded emphatically by saying, no, the One Bermuda Alliance government will be headstrong, they're not going to change their ways, and they are seeking to bring the bill for a second reading on Monday. Let me explain what this means. It means that we are now in a rock and a hard place. We have a choice. One option is to walk off this hill passively and allow the One Bermuda Alliance to have their will and pleasure on the people of this country.
Shut it down!
So the other option.
Shut it down.
We are out here, we are the government, taxpayers, we are the government.
Okay, listen. Thank you, Brother. Yeah, in fact, it's true that you are the government. And we are your representatives. Sometimes, and it's not just this government, but even in the past, we can be forgiven for forgetting that we actually serve you instead of you serving us. But once in a while, as a people, you get fed up. We can understand why you've been fed up. All you ask, I'm sure, is to have a higher standard of living. Is to ensure that your children and grandchildren have a place in this country in the future. Not just a place to sleep, but a place to work. A place to employ oneself. A place where we can raise the standard of living of everyone in this country. We have a government that has decided to take a path which, as far as we are concerned, is meant to marginalize all Bermudians. Brothers and sisters, by Monday, we will close the House of Assembly. Listen to me, we will close the House of Assembly for our recess. So we have a deadline. the government by Monday either has to withdraw this bill entirely, or I can expect you to respond in kind. But let me make something clear. When it's time for you to stand up for your rights, when it's time for you to have the strength and courage to seek justice, I don't expect you to bow. I don't expect you to bend. I expect you to stand with faith, knowing that right always conquers wrong. Even if it appears that they have some supernatural power, let me tell you today, no one up in that house has any power. You have the power. So this is what I will ask. This is what I'm going to ask. No compromising, no time for negotiation. You can't negotiate with liars. You can't negotiate with people who you cannot trust. We exhausted all avenues to negotiate. We asked to go back to the table. We asked for comprehensive immigration reform. We have been rejected upstairs, and now USC people have been rejected on the ground. I ask you, what will your response be? I hope that today is just the start of momentum that has to be built. Do not bend. If we have to go from Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday, then let me show you. You see this lady right here? You see this lady right here? Right. If she has it, then we must have it. And listen, if the government decides to proceed, then since we gave them the power, I expect you to take it from them without apology. Brothers and sisters, stay peaceful. I want to turn it over to who I consider to be a lady who, if you don't know her, you're miscalculating her. She's one of the most powerful women I have met in this country in my life. I can compare her to the warrior queens in Bernews Bermuda of yesteryear, in Bermuda and outside of Bermuda. If the OBA think that you can ridicule Sister Enda, and you can mock Sister Enda, and she's gonna bend and break, then you have another thing coming. This is one of the most spiritually disciplined women I have met in my life. And that tells me that she is leading by example. I want to know, are we going to get on board, have the courage to do what's necessary?
Protect her.
Not just protect her, I want us to protect each other. Protecting each other. All right, so no more compromise. There is nothing else to be discussed. It's either you pull the bill, it's either you withdraw the bill, or the next step will be for the people to exercise their democratic right. And that democratic right means by any means necessary to ensure that the 1 Bermuda Alliance will be returned to the polls. We will go back to the polls. Okay, if they don't want to get the mandate through honesty, to come into the people through real consultation, then I expect you to take the mandate from them.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. I understand that it's right now look like 4 o'clock. Where do I begin? We started off first thing this morning. It is now 4 o'clock this afternoon. Let me just be clear, because I think that what we shouldn't do, which will be a recipe for disaster, is to divide ourselves. And I say that with the utmost respect, because be it as it may, and I say this, Chris Trevor will not be used by anybody. Anybody. If whatever agenda you got, then you take your agenda. So we need to stay focused. And whilst I do understand the need to make change in the country, I got that loud and clear. But let me just remind everybody that's here today, and even the media while about me on earth right now. In 2012,
the voters went to the polls. And in 2012, whether I like it or not, or you like it or not, the OBA won the election. And they won the election for two reasons. Two reasons. First one was we had about 3,000 people stayed here and didn't vote. First reason. Second reason, they managed to convince some of us that they was going to be bringing change. And as a result of that, we voted. They won the election 19 to 17. My advice to you, everybody that's here today, and everybody who's listening to my voice, if you want to change that, two ways to change it. Two. First of all, you need to have at least 15,000 people standing on this hill. That's the first thing. Because the OBA won the election and they had 15,000 people that voted for them. The other way is that you need to get at least a minimum of 15,000 signatures to say you want them born. And then you present that to the governor. So let's just be clear. I don't want anybody to be under any illusion right now that we've got 2,000 people here and we're going to the mayor right now that the OBA be born. That is not correct. And what I'm saying to you, if we have 10,000 people here today and we want to now start having a conversation about that, because I don't want to get caught up in any political device of anybody. Anybody. The call today for a protest was around comprehensive immigration reform bipartisan. That was the call that went out from the People's Campaign, that we were asking for the people of Bermuda to volunteers for 24 hours, and it was about comprehensive immigration reform. At 9 o'clock this morning, an email was sent to the media from the General Counsel of the BIU asking for workers to come out for one day, protest for one day in relationship to the same issue. I said to you this morning, in 1981, we came out for one issue. That issue was wages for government workers and hospital workers. We didn't after that say, and we could have done it. Let's just be clear, we could have done it then. We could have called for a virtual conference on the government and got rid of the OBA government back then. So let's just be clear. So if we're going to talk about doing something, let's make sure we do it together, and let's not be divisive in what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve. That will be the wrongest thing for us to do. Give a man a chance, you give a man a chance, yeah, you give him enough chances, that's fine. It's kind of like when we have, whether it's loved ones or friends that have problems. Whether they have a drug problem, alcohol problem, whatever it is. You hope at some point in time they're gonna change. Well, let me just be clear to you, right? And that kind of disrespect is not acceptable, okay? Whatever my point is, if you don't want to make that me, you take the money. So be respectful. So I understand people I got it, were frustrated, I got that. But remember now, they want us to divide ourselves. And we're going to be very careful how we do that. We need to decide what next steps are. We talked about a day. The Premier of the country stood up on the House of Assembly floor this morning and said that the answer to withdrawing the bill is no. We came back to you after we went to the press conference, and the Premier says, well, we're going to have a conversation, and we want to have a conversation with 3 individuals. We said we're going to add a few more. But let me just say, that conversation is not going to happen. And let me explain to you why it's not going to happen. It's now almost 10 minutes past 4. When we were out in January last year, I tell you that been around the block a few times, and I know where the government is going with doing certain things. And we knew exactly where they were going. They were going to get an injunction trying to send everybody back to work. Well, I guess, you know, a lot of don't change his spots and all those sort of things. So the government has proceeded to serve a draft injunction on 2 individuals. 2. That is Reverend Tweed and myself. So, be it as it may, you decide, and I'm saying you decide, as to what we're going to do from here as it relates to, are we coming back on Monday? Are we coming back on Monday? Hopefully, there's, as I mentioned to you this morning, hopefully, that's what I'm going. Hopefully, there's workers or people in Bermuda who decided today that I'm still in that phase of being fearful or having a bit of fear. Just know that we are, or we should be, our brother and our sister's keeper. In 1981, we started off slow, and then we built momentum in 1981. So just like maybe a few people who are here, brothers and sisters who are here today, ladies and gentlemen here today, it's no different than 1981. People wanted immediate results, but guess what? 1 day went by, 2 days went by, and another days went by, and then we got a result. So if you want immediate results that, you know, we came out today and the government didn't change his mind yet, well, the old saying is that we're built in a day. And whilst we do understand that there is a lot of frustration and a number of things that people are very concerned about, I honestly believe that in the background, whether you want to talk about influential people who are in the community, are probably going to try to convince the government to come to their senses. Particularly if you take the brother's point that on Monday, because we've already decided to come back on Monday, that if we can get some more of the country to realize that by not having comprehensive immigration reform and the disadvantages it creates for us as citizens, and let me just clarify something, because I think that I spoke to a sister earlier, and she asked me to clarify what those comprehensive immigration reform look like. Well, in principle, let me say 2 things that I think would include comprehensive immigration reform. First of all, somebody that's here for 20 years, do they have a right to be here and live here? I think most people would say, well, you have all the rights now. The only right you don't have, and I think I heard Kai say it earlier, was that the only thing they don't have is the right to vote. So how do you have somebody in your country with a right to vote here and a right to vote somewhere else? You're going to decide where your allegiance is going to be. So after 20 years, you're either going to be given a passport for Bermuda and give up your passport in America, or give up your passport somewhere else. Let me use the example of Dr. Brown. Remember, Dr. Brown wanted to come back home, and they said, well, I'll tell you what, you want to come back home to run for politics, you got to give up that card, because otherwise that, you ain't happy. That's right. So if you want to talk about having a conversation, then we also have to look at the number of individuals who's going to be allowed to be granted that. Is it 1 person? Is it 10 people at a time? But it certainly can be hundreds. Can't do that in a size where we have 21,000 square miles, 21 square miles, and they think that we can just open up the floodgates and let everybody in there, our children, as I think it's been said, roughly about, I think we got the number right, about 6,000 acres. And out of that 6,000 acres right now, foreigners are in about 2,000 of that. So there's only 4,000 left for us. So if we now agree to this whole question of just opening up like the government wants to do, that means that's going to be less property for us to have. So this whole question about making sure that everybody understands the reason why they need to come out and support this initiative, it may not be easy, but this is a national issue. As I said to you this morning, this is not a labor issue. Recognizing that you're off from your job, you're not working today, we understand that. But under Section 10, as I said earlier today, under Section 10 of the Constitution, you have a right to freedom of peaceful assembly, peaceful association, and peaceful protest. Nobody has done anything today to break the law. And the example that I will use, and I said this to our lawyer yesterday, is that all around the world, people are protesting about different issues. What makes Bermuda so different? What really makes us so different? Oh, I forgot, Bermuda's another world. Remembering that we are in the world. So when you heard, whether it's your friend or your boss or somebody else saying to you, well, what you're doing is not right. Look at where we came from to where we are today. The reason why we have what we have today is because our forefathers sacrificed. And they sacrificed. And there's no way that we should leave this country worse off than what it is now when our children and our children's children, why would we really want to leave a worse place for them as opposed to leaving something that's equal or better? Not worse. Not worse. So with that, I don't have anything else to say. I think you've decided that we'll be back here on Monday morning, bright and early at 9 o'clock. Encourage your friends, your family, other individuals that you know to be here, stand up, and be content. I understand that it's challenging. I understand we're living in hard times. I understand a lot of people are not working. And if you look at the overall picture, that there's no reason why on Monday the response shouldn't be overwhelming. If you really want to get the government's attention even more, because to remind you again about 81, in the initial stages, the UBP government will listen to the unions. And it wasn't until after certain things start happening, that they began to listen.
Do you think you'll be able to listen to us?
Well, what I'm saying to you is that if you want them to start listening, let's drum it up some more. We're going to drum it up some more. And once you see that momentum building, they have no other choice but to listen to us. Most important. Absolutely. I can knock off. Go ahead.
Good afternoon again. Good afternoon. Now, as we move forward in good faith, only to discover that an injunction was sought. How good is that? And how much faith is that? And we don't want that to become a distraction, but I will say this. History teaches us that we must protect our leaders. History teaches us that if we don't protect our leaders, then we will end up leaderless, wandering aimlessly through history, wondering why we're in the condition that we're in. It might be
legal, but it doesn't make it right. They legalized segregation, but it didn't make it right. Slavery was legal, but it doesn't make it right. Working somebody 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week for bad pay was legal, but it wasn't right. Not providing health benefits for your workers was legal, but it wasn't right. Child labor was legal, but it doesn't make it right. And so people can use the law, but the very people who use the law are the people who wrote the law to preserve and protect their interests. And I come today affirming that there is a greater law. Somebody once put it this way, they said the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Someone else said truth crushed to earth will rise again. But this afternoon I want to say that the law under which we are governed is in the hand of a God that sits high and looks low. The law is in the hand of a God that can make high places low and crooked places straight and rough places smooth. The law in which we trust is the law of a God that doesn't turn a blind eye on injustice, that hears the cries of his people that are being exploited and oppressed and taken advantage of. The law that we work and labor under is the law of a God that will raise up a Moses, that will declare to a Pharaoh, let my people go. So, beloved, we have gathered here today not to mark the end, but to establish the beginning. And so now, just like the Hebrews, even as Pharaoh's soldiers lay scattered on the seashore, the journey began because they then were faced with the long and difficult challenge of making it through the wilderness in order to get to the promised land. Well, we're just standing in the wilderness right now. But if we keep the faith, if we have courage, the same God that delivered us from Pharaoh will send a light by day and a light by night to guide our pathway. And so I come simply saying that no injunction can put chains on justice. No injunction can put chains on truth. No injunction can stop us marching and fighting and pressing and pushing and demanding our freedom until we are free. So as we prepare to go, I want us to just take somebody by the hand. And we'll end as we began.
What I don't want, we don't want people to just start leaving. We want to decide the time, what time do they want to stay to, and whatever time they decide, then that's how we do it.
Let us bow our heads. Lord, we pause to give you thanks for blessing us with this day. A day when family can get together, human family. Brothers and sisters join together in solidarity. We thank you not only for granting us good weather today, but we thank you for the dignity and the integrity with which this day has been conducted. There's been no fighting, there's been no arguing, there's been no fussing. Everybody has remained focused. And so we pray now that you will continue to bind us together one to another, that we might ever remain focused on the goal that we seek, that we might be reminded that we can do more together than we can by ourselves. And so as we prepare to go, let us refuse to allow ourselves to be divided or separated. Let us refuse to give way to the enemy that may try to come in and sift us like wheat. But let us remain convicted and committed to marching breast forward, never doubting that right worsted will triumph in the end. Bless us, keep us, sustain us, empower us, strengthen us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And God's people said amen. Amen. Now we're not, you come on and put your hands together. You can put your hands together. Now we're not dismissing you at this time. We can agree upon a common time where we want to depart. We all understand what the issues are. We all understand what's at stake. And so now let us remain convicted and let us do what we know needs to be done. Again, we want to say thank you. God bless you and keep you.
Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, so my suggestion is I think we should decide whether we're going to stay here till 5, 6, whatever. But what we don't want to happen is that we don't agree on a time and then people just start walking away. I think then it will look bad because, us, we came together and we should decide to leave together. So we should decide to leave whatever time you say, whatever time you want to stay to until we do that. So we jump over. What time? Let's agree on a time that's, we got 5 o'clock, we're at 6 o'clock. What about 5:30, right in the middle? The time is 5:30. The question has been asked, do we want to march back to the Union? And whatever the people want to do, we'll do it. So if we agree, we're going to leave her at 5:30 or 5, whatever time you say, to march back to the Union. What time? Yeah, I got it. We're going to leave at 5 o'clock to march back to the Union. Okay? Good. We're back here on Monday, so that means tomorrow and Sunday, things are normal. Things are normal. Everybody got that?
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, everything is normal, and then Monday you agree to be back here. Correct? Good. The other question that's being asked, Monday morning, you say that we want to meet again here on Monday morning, so are we meeting here or are we marching here? All right, we'll meet at the Union at between 8 and 8:30 Monday morning.
And bring your children! And bring your children! Bring your children! Bring your children! Bring everyone! Excuse me, class! Bring your children!
I'm not sure if you can hear the shout that's being made.
Bring your children!
Absolutely.
Bring your children!
Yeah.